all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 13th of May. Let's start with a big story. In a late-night address to the nation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that his government would be launching a large economic relief package. The total size of the package, including measures that have already been announced so far, will be worth 20 lakh crore rupees. The measures that the Prime Minister was referring to were the relief measures worth 1.7 lakh crore rupees for the poor and the series of liquidity measures announced by the RBI and the rate cuts that it has undertaken. The details of the new measures were not announced yesterday, and instead Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will lay them out from today onwards. Make sure you tune in to Bloomberg Quint over the course of the day to find out the latest updates. The Prime Minister's announcement came just hours after the release of key economic data. Industrial production as measured by the IIP contracted in March as the spread of the COVID-19 virus began to disrupt economic activity from the middle of the month. The IIP in fact fell by 16.7% in March compared with a rise of 4.62% in February and a rise of 2.08% in January. Yet April's reading could in fact be worse. Remember, the nationwide lockdown was imposed on the 24th of March, so the total impact will be visible from the month of April. In case you're wondering, retail inflation data wasn't released yesterday. A Ministry of Statistics press release said that the data could not be collected on account of the ongoing pandemic. And speaking of the coronavirus, as per the latest available data, the total number of cases has risen above 70,000. Maharashtra, Gujarat, Delhi, Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan account for 72% of these cases. Remember to check the website later on this morning. The latest data gets released by the Health Ministry at 8 a.m. In major corporate news, Vedanta Resources has agreed to buy the entire public shareholding of its listed subsidiary, Vedanta Limited, and take it private. The Anil Agarwal-led company informed the exchanges yesterday that it would acquire Vedanta at 87.5 per share. That's a 2% discount to its closing price of 89.3 on Tuesday. As per the latest available data, public shareholders hold nearly 169.1 crore shares of Vedanta, aggregating to nearly 49% of Vedanta's paid-up equity share capital. In other news, Jubilant Life Sciences has entered into a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Gilead Sciences that will allow it to register, manufacture and sell the drug Remdesivir, which is being used to treat COVID-19 in 127 countries, including India. US stocks have ended lower on account of grim commentary by top US officials. US equities ended lower after grim commentary by top officials. On the one hand, Anthony Fauci, the US government's top infectious disease expert, told a Senate hearing that consequences could be really serious if states ease restrictions too soon. He said that at least 8 COVID-19 vaccine candidates are in development, though he doubted that any of them will be ready by autumn. On the other hand, Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis President James Bullard said there would be business failures on a grand scale and the risk of depression if the shutdown persists. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq declined by 2% each, while the Dow fell 1.9%. Equity markets in the Asia-Pacific region have begun weak as well, with all three early risers starting in the red. And with that, it's over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Agam. How are we looking today?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. The 20 lakh crore package announcement, needless to say, has changed sentiment, and we're expecting Indian equity markets to open with a lot of strength. The SGX Nifty futures is currently trending higher by 250 points. And there is a lot more positive news when it comes to stock-specific action as well. The big news in the commodity sector is that billionaire Anil Agarwal plans to take Indian commodities giant Vedanta private as the tycoon continues to simplify his investments. The board will take up the matter of delisting the company in a meet on May 18th. Interestingly, Hindustan Zinc has announced a dividend of 16.5 rupees per share. Consequently, Vedanta gets 4,525 crores from this interim dividend. In its semi-annual review, MSCI has added Biocon, Indraprastha Gas, Jubilant Foodworks, Tata Consumer Products and Torrent Pharma in the MSCI India Index, and it has deleted Ashok Leyland, M&M Financial Services, Shriram Transport Finance and Tata Power from the list. These changes will come into effect post May 29th. In earnings, we have strong earnings from Nestle India, which reported a 10.8% growth in revenues in the quarter ending March, higher than consensus expectations on the back of key brands Maggi and Nescafe. Its margins stayed under a tad bit of pressure owing to higher cost of dairy inputs, but profits still rose 13% due to lower corporate taxes. But on expected lines, it was a weak quarter for consumer durables companies Blue Star and Havells India, with 19 to 20% decline in revenues for both companies owing to COVID-19 disrupting business activity. But it was a robust quarter for India Mart Indimesh, which reported a 23% growth in sales and a 57% jump in profits year on year. Today, we watch out for biggies like Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Kotak Mahindra Bank and Maruti Suzuki, among many others in earnings. And more non-earnings news, we have Jubilant Life Sciences, which has entered into a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Gilead Sciences that will grant the company with the right to register, manufacture and sell Gilead's investigational drug Remdesivir, a potential therapy for COVID-19 in 127 countries, including India. And finally, an update from Adani Ports in SEZ, which has confirmed the news that it has walked out of its Bhavanandapadu port deal in Andhra Pradesh. And it says that there is no material impact of this on the company, as the company had received only a letter of intent to award and no further action was taken with respect to this project. Now, these are just some of the stocks you can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.